Chapter 219 Discussions. Senior Martial Brother Sect Master. Junior Martial Brother was able to cultivate to Foundation establishment by a fluke, thus he has come to Sect Master to inform him of this matter. I hope Sect Master could award me the privilege of establishing an Immortal's cave. Han Li was not long-winded, directly stating his purpose in coming. You've just cultivated to Foundation establishment? Zhang Lingdao first stared blankly before soon coming to realization. To receive a Foundation establishment pill, then waiting until the most opportune moment before consuming and succeeding in Foundation establishment was not a rare matter. This Sect Master Zhang considered Han Li to be one of those cases. Hee, congratulations to Junior Martial Brother Han on entering Foundation establishment. The sect's high-level disciples has increased by 1. This is truly a matter worth celebrating. Zhang Lingdao said with a faint smile as he twirled his long whiskers. This one was only lucky. This was thanks to the Foundation establishment pill bestowed by the sect. Han Li replied, gleaming with radiance. After Zhang Lingdao heard Han Li's courteous words, he carefully sized up Han Li. At this moment, he felt Han Li was becoming more and more familiar. He must have seen him before. But after a moment of thought, he could not remember when or where. As such, Zhang Lingdao could not help but nod his head and mutter to himself, bitterly entering deep thought. As Han Li saw this, he found this very funny and did not bother him. Minding his own business, he raised the teacup and slowly tasted the tea within. After a short moment, with a flash of realization, Zhang Lingdao actually thought of the matter of the rite of immortal ascension. He could not help but connect the youngster who originally stood in the main hall to the calm Junior Martial Brother before him. Zhang Lingdao, having recalled Han Li's circumstances, could not help but sharply raise his head. He cried out with a face full of surprise, "It's you, the disciple who entered the sect with the rite of immortal ascension. You actually succeeded in Foundation establishment? Senior Martial Brother Sect Master actually remembers me. My matter of being able to enter the sect was truly thanks to Sect Master's assistance." When Han Li saw that the Sect Master had remembered him, he did not panic and instead lightly smiled toward Zhang Lingdao, expressing his thanks. Having heard the words Senior Martial Brother Sect Master, Zhang Lingdao realized this was no longer the rogue cultivator who originally entered the sect but a Foundation establishment cultivator such as himself. Thus, after a brief expression of astonishment, he resumed his calm expression and mildly remarked, "It was nothing. This Sect Master has handled affairs in accordance to the rules for many years. However, Junior Martial Brother Han was actually able to cultivation to Foundation establishment with false spiritual roots. It is inconceivable. If this were to spread, Junior Martial Brother would be immediately known throughout the cultivation world." Although Zhang Qingdao's external appearance seemed to have returned to normal, his words revealed the astonishment in his heart. This was no surprise, as Sect Master Zhang clearly understood Han Li's original circumstances. A person with 4 attribute spiritual roots being able to attain Foundation establishment was truly hard for him to accept. Han Li saw this and smiled. With a half-joking tone, he said, "This one did not expect when he took the Foundation establishment pill, he would actually reach Foundation establishment. The only explanation is that I was assisted by the heavens, which saw a fool like me and gave me outrageous luck." When Han Li said this, he actually made the other party laugh. "But Junior Martial Brother Han, wasn't your Foundation establishment pill given to Junior Martial Disciple Yi's grandnephew? How did you obtain another Foundation establishment pill?" Right after Sect Master Zhang chuckled, he had second thoughts on something he didn't understand and asked, Senior Martial Brother Sect Master, didn't you give me a Foundation establishment pill?" Laughing in his herd, Han Li responded to this with chuckle. "Me?" Zhang Lingdao responded, puzzled. How could he possibly not have any memory of this? Could it be that Sect Master has already forgotten? Among the several people who returned alive from the forbidden area, there were 3 who were awarded a Foundation establishment pill. I was one of those people. Han Li eventually said after putting away his smile. You are the unnamed disciple accepted by martial ancestor Li? Zhang Lingdao grew excited, longer able to keep his calm appearance. That's right. I am the disciple that Master Li Huayan accepted on the trip from the forbidden area. Han Li did not deny, directly acknowledging this. So it was like that. So that was why the name Han Li sounded so familiar. So it turned out that 2 years ago, the name of the disciple that everyone was bubbling about belonged to junior martial brother. Zhang Lingdao's eyes expressed even more astonishment as he spoke with a slightly more genial tone. Zhang Lingdao's intentions were clear. Since Han Li had already reached foundation establishment, becoming martial ancestor Li's official disciple was practically already determined. He naturally did not want to arouse any contempt from Han Li. He inwardly thought to himself, since it was like this junior martial brother Han must have reached foundation establishment by a complete fluke. Otherwise, with his aptitude, foundation establishment absolutely wouldn't be possible even out of 100 times. Although Zhang Lingdao truly felt uneasy, he naturally spoke to Han Li with a few courteous words. Then he had Han Li wait a short moment before going to fetch a register. Han Li naturally agreed and waited for his return. After the time it took to make a cup of tea, Zhang Lingdao walked out with a white jade slip. Then in front of Han Li, he used a golden brush to write Han Li's name at the very bottom of the densely written list of names. He was finally put into the record. When Han Li saw this, he grew delighted. He knew that he could now properly have his own Immortal's cave. Zhang Lingdao regularly conducted various matters for new foundation establishment disciples. When he saw Han Li's smiling face, he could somewhat guess what Han Li was thinking. Thus, after a faint smile, he took out 3 mid-grade spirit stones and 5 small and thin flags that were shrouded in white mist, handing them over to Han Li. What is this? Han Li could somewhat understand being given mid-grade spirit stones. This was the award for the Sex Foundation Establishment disciples. But whatever were these 5 palm-sized flags? There seemed to have spiritual chi and felt strange to the touch. It seemed as if they weren't ordinary magic tools. How strange. Without waiting for Han Li to ask, Zhang Lingdao held out his hand, handing over a jade slip to Han Li. He then explained, "These spirit stones are a one-time reward that is given to all new foundation establishment disciples. Every year from now on, you will receive a mid-grade spirit stone without having to do any menial labor. As for these several trace-bewildering flags, they are an essential item for establishing your Immortal's cave. Although they are used to arrange a trace-bewildering magic formation, it is the most simple of small-scale formation spells. However, it is enough to prevent mortal people and animals from trespassing. Naturally, if Junior Martial Brother is proficient in formation spells, he will not need to use these small flags. Furthermore, the jade slip contains formation establishing arts and controlling techniques. Naturally, a few other matters a foundation establishment disciple should be aware of are included within. After Junior Martial Brother leaves, please take a look at them. Thank you for your trouble, Senior Martial Brother Sect Master." Han Li accepted the jade slip with both hands and expressed his thanks continuously. These items were what Han Li currently required the most, hence he was unable to contain his joy. After these matters were finished, Han Li chatted with Sect Master Zhang for the time it took an incense stick to burn before taking his leave and departing from the main hall. After departing the stone hall, Han Li thought to fly out of Yellow Maple Valley and look for a place to establish his Immortal's cave. On his way, however, he looked through the jade slip that Zhang Lingdao had given him and immediately changed his mind. He then turned his flying magic tool to a different area. Shilin Pavilion, a rather grand and resounding name. It was one of Yellow Maple Valley's most important locations. That was because it was the sex-specialized area for raising and taming spirit beasts. Spirit beasts were actually demonic beasts. After these demonic beasts were tamed by cultivators, they would naturally be called spirit beasts. This Jilin Pavilion's spirit beasts were mostly of grade 1. Although there were a few individual grade 2 spirit beasts, they were left there by others and could not be ordered at will. However, although there were only grade 1 spirit beasts, they provided numerous convenient services to the sect's many disciples. For example, transporting people, guarding households, seeking spiritual medicines, aiding in attacking enemies and so on. Han Li had charged over there asking for a spirit beast by the name of Twin Pupil Mouse. It resembled a common mouse, but it had the innate divine eyes of a spirit beast. This was what Zhang Lingdao's Jade Slip had recommended he use as an assistant for finding the optimal place to establish his Immortal's cave. This intermediate grade 1 spirit beast's twin pupils were able to easily see through dense fog, rivers, trees and other obstacles hindering a cultivator's line of sight. Furthermore, it was innately fond of burrowing its nest in areas with dense spiritual qi. With some slight training, this twin pupil mouse was an optimal scout for finding spirit eye areas. They were a favorite among the sect's disciples. This was not the first time Han Li came to Qilin Pavilion. He had previously come several times to handle affairs. He hurried past the front gates, not finding this place to be all that unfamiliar. He suddenly appeared from the sky, dropping at the base of a small jade-green mountain belonging to the Qilin Pavilion, the Wondrous Beast Mountain's guest welcoming station. A low-level female cultivator immediately walked out to greet Han Li. "Martial uncle, are you here to rent a spirit beast?" These words were sharp and clear. This 16 to 17-year-old female disciple could not help but look at Han Li with an expectant expression. Han Li saw this and faintly smiled, saying, "Right now, are there any twin pupil mice available? I wish to rent one for 2 days." "Yes, of course we do. I will go bring one for Martial uncle." When the female disciple heard this, she smiled and happily replied,